Hello, everyone. This is the Insert Title Show, and I'm your host, Wolf Strife. On this episode, I'm going to be talking about the Gettysburg Companion. This was written by Mark Adkin, and I think it came out in 2008. This is a fantastic book, and I'm a huge fan of Mark Adkin. I mean, his other books that I got, the Waterloo Companion and the Western Front Companion, were both excellent books, but I think just by far and away this one's the best book he's ever done. And I've got to tell you, man, this book has so much information in it. Well, just to compare it to his other two books that I have, this book has about 100 more pages in it than his Waterloo Companion, and about 20 more pages than his Western Front Companion book. Considering how his Western Front Companion book deals with the entire Western Front during World War One, an entire theater of operation that lasted for 4 years. So considering that this book about a 3-day battle has more pages in it than a book dealing with the entire Western Front during World War One, should tell you how much is in this book. Yeah, man, all the stuff in this book is fantastic. The pictures, the maps, just everything. Even the writing is really interesting and very well done. I mean, I can't imagine how much work Mark Adkin put into this book. I mean, this looks like this had to take him years to compile all this information and boil it down to what I have before me. I mean, this is just an amazing book. I mean, this is not just an excellent book about the Battle of Gettysburg. This is an excellent book about the Civil War. I mean, I have somewhere around 40 or 50 information books, basically, books that aren't novels. They just have a lot of pictures and a lot of information in them, so I call them information books. So yeah, I have about 40 or 50 of those about the Civil War. And for the most part, they're all fine books, but I can say without too much temerity that this Gettysburg Companion has better information, more concise information, and is given to the reader in a way that is a hell of a lot easier to picture and understand than maybe all of these other books combined. I mean, this book is really that awesome. Yeah, this book has so much detail in it. Like, Mark Atkin basically divides the book into chapters. Like, for the infantry, he'll tell us all the types of guns that were used, how many were purchased, what type of ammunition the guns would have taken, what kind of uniforms the infantry would have worn, just all that kind of stuff. And then he goes on to the artillery, talking about all the different types of artillery pieces that would have been used, the ammunition. I mean, hell, he even has a section on caissons for the artillery. Like, he shows you a diagram of a caisson, like what kind of ammunition would have gone in it, how it would have been organized inside of the caisson. I mean, it's just amazing. And then he goes on to the cavalry and talks about all that. And I mean, it's just crazy. And he even has a section on transports, basically logistics, like how both sides moved ammunition and food and all that kind of stuff to the battlefield. Just all the supplies and stuff that was needed to fit an army. And he shows a map of the roads that the transports would have taken and stuff. So, I mean, he goes into great detail about basically everything dealing with the Battle of Gettysburg. I mean, it really is amazing. And just all the detail in this book, like, it was a joy reading the order of battle for this battle. I mean, it was really, really awesome because he lists all the commanders, all the corps, all the divisions, all the brigades, all the regiments, all the artillery batteries. I mean, it really was pretty fun reading the order of battle. And he doesn't just list every regiment and all that stuff. He actually tells you how many men they had at the battle and how many men they lost during the battle. So that was really cool. Well, I don't know if cool is the proper way to put it. I mean, looking at Pickett's losses during the battle was kind of crazy, especially Garnett's brigade. Eek. Yeah, it was just a joy reading this because when it comes to information about battles and wars and all that kind of stuff, I'm a pretty simple guy when it comes to the information I want to know about. Just give it to me straight, no bullshit. It better be accurate and precise, and just so that I can remember it and process it and stuff. And this book was just absolutely perfect for me because it was right there. easy to process, easy to understand, and no bullshit. So I really, really enjoyed reading this book. Now, naturally, for a book of this size with this much information in it, there are going to be some mistakes here and there. Like there's a part where he's talking about the Battle of Chancellorsville and the death of Stonewall Jackson, and he gives a brief biography on Stonewall Jackson, and I think one part mentions that in 1926, when Stonewall Jackson was only 2, naturally, when I read that, I was like, oh, you were probably meaning 1826. Oops. And then another part I noticed was when he confused the 14th Vermont with the 13th Vermont. Just little stupid shit like that. I mean, it's human error. I mean, stuff like that's going to happen with this much information. So, yeah, I mean, whatever. This book has really, really good information in it, and data and stats and maps and all that jazz, like I was telling you. In fact, the book actually starts off with what happened at Chancellorsville, then it goes through all that stuff, talking about the infantry, cavalry, artillery, transports, and then it gets to the actual battle. And Mark Adkin does a great job telling you basically what happened at the Battle of Gettysburg. And the pictures are fantastic. He does that where he actually takes a photograph of the battlefield today and actually shows a graphic of where the Confederates would have been attacking from and where the Yankees would have been and all that stuff. So, yeah, he does just a really, really good job all around with every part of this book. So, yeah, if you're a Civil War buff, you have to absolutely get this book. I was on Amazon today checking it out just to see what the price was nowadays. I think I paid $50 for it, which is a lot, but it's worth every penny. But unfortunately, I think the book is out of print or sold out on Amazon, so it might be kind of tricky getting your hands on this book. You might have to buy it used or new from another company, but whatever. I mean, if you can get this book, get it. It's that good. So yeah, in conclusion, if you are a Civil War buff, get this book. If you want to learn more about the Battle of Gettysburg, get this book. And if you're just curious about the Civil War and maybe want to learn more about it, and specifically, I guess, the Battle of Gettysburg, if you want to learn more about that, then yeah, definitely get this book. I mean, I wish I had this book when I was a kid, just starting out learning about the Civil War. I mean, this would have been a damn good place to start. So if you have any kids or grandkids or just, anybody like that, you want them to get into the Civil War, hand them this book. They will thank you many years later. But yeah, this really, really is a great book. So check it out if you want.